Hi, and welcome to Breathe Deeply with Yoga Borne. So, this is part of our Slowdown September practice every day to help you slow down, pause, and transition into the month of September and the season of autumn. And all our practices are completely free on Yoga Borne YouTube. So we're looking at box breathing, or sometimes referred to as square breathing. And this is a deep relaxation breathing technique. Physically, it can help to slow you down, slow the breath down, and mentally, it can help to focus the mind, especially as there's counting often used with box breath. And plenty of deep breathing techniques can help to calm the nervous system. So taking us from this state of fight, flight, freeze into a state of rest and digest. And benefits of box breath can be that it can help you to cope with stress, with anxiety, with feelings of overwhelm. It can help with sleep, or at least help you feel relaxed in order to drift off into a good night's sleep. Promotes healthy lung function through rhythmic breathing. It can help to refocus us. So perhaps if you're at work and you kind of have that afternoon slump after you've had a bit of lunch, a bit of box breath could help you regain focus. And it also lowers the blood pressure and decreases cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Many practices of breath that help us to reduce or decrease certain stress hormones or chemicals can then help us to boost or improve mood. So where can you practice box breath? Anywhere. I was going to say absolutely anywhere, but that sounds like a challenge. But it could be that you practice it in your yoga class or in your own yoga practice, your self-practice. This could be something that you practice at home. It could be something you practice at work. And it could also be something you practice in public. So, thinking about standing in a queue or sitting on public transport where you need those moments to refocus or to re-find a sense of center and grounding. So it's good to know a little bit about our breathing techniques before we start. So for this breathing technique, I've just mentioned you can practice it anywhere, which is absolutely true. But if it's your first time or you're new to this technique, you may want to practice it seated or laying down. So important that you find a position that's comfortable for you and your body. If you're seated, I'd suggest sitting in a chair where you're not going to slump back into it too much. So you want to maintain a bit of length through the spine and also where your feet can be planted to the earth. If you're laid down, I'd suggest that you lay in constructive rest. So this is our position with back of the body, spine to the earth, feet step out a little bit wider, knees knock inwards. And you might even have a slim pillow or a cushion behind the head just to give the full length of the spine and the back of the neck a nice little opening. So if you need to pause, grab anything for support, grab your chair, go and lie down or clear a space to do so, then do any of that and simply hit play when you're ready to continue. So we're going to breathe as we would normally to begin with, but with some awareness. So I know from, of course, my own personal experience that often when we're told to take awareness to the breath, but to not change the breath, the mind starts to kick in. And we're kind of like, am I changing it? Is that how I naturally breathe? So just as best you can, we're going to be the observer of the breath. You may close the eyes, you may place a hand on the heart and one on the belly. And just notice the breath. And see if you can notice the body, the stomach perhaps. As you breathe in, the belly should rise a little bit. And as you breathe out, it draws back in or contracts. So it may not be a huge rise and fall here with natural breath. It will, of course, be a bit more spacious when we're breathing deeper. But if you do notice that really your belly's not rising that much at all, but your chest is rising, or your shoulders in particular are rising, this is shallow breath. So we want to try and send that breath down towards the belly. Sometimes we just start to visualize that, then it begins to happen. And we're breathing in through the nose, if that feels best for you. So usually it's nose for breathing, mouth for eating. We're going to breathe out through the mouth though, just through a little gap in the lips. And dependent on your position, as you breathe in, you'll feel this sense of expansion, perhaps a little lift and rise. And as you breathe out, the sense of contraction, of drawing back or inwards. So just to let you know, if you are pregnant or you suffer from high or low blood pressure or anything similar, then this style of breathing practice isn't recommended for you due to the breath retention. So we're going to be holding breath. So you can absolutely still practice just being aware of the breath, stay in the space that you're in. You could practice in a moment, expanding the breath, so counting the breath a little bit deeper, but please skip the retention. And I'm just going to talk you through the steps of this, and then we're going to give it a whirl. So sitting nice and tall or laying without tension, we breathe in to a slow count of 4. We hold the breath, just gently close the lips, but don't purse or force, for a slow count of 4. Try and avoid inhaling or exhaling if you can, but if you're brand new to this and you need to sneak a little inhale and exhale, absolutely do that. Then we slowly exhale out of the mouth for 4. And once again, hold the breath for 4. And the new cycle begins again as we breathe in. So let's give it a whirl. When you are ready, let's breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath for 3, 2, 1. Part the lips, slow exhale now for 3, 2, 1. Gently close the lips, hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. And now just come back to your natural breath. So it's called box breath or square breathing. You might already know this, you may not, because we can imagine the shape in our mind as well. That can be quite helpful if we're a visual type of person. So we're imagining as we're breathing, we're drawing our way around this box. So let's say we start with a dot. As we breathe in, we draw a line across to the right. As we hold the breath, we draw a line down to bottom right. As we breathe out, we draw a line across to bottom left. And as we hold the breath, we draw the line back up to the dot we began at. So let's go again if you feel it's okay. Breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. You're back to your inhale. And then perhaps you just take an exhale. So maybe take a couple more rounds of this. And then observe coming back to your natural breath, how that breath feels, how the body feels, how the mind feels. If you experience any dizziness or nausea, then please do stop the box breath. Just come back to your normal breath, feet, seat or spine to the earth. Maybe you repeat to yourself, I am safe, I am grounded. And if after a few rounds of your box breath, you feel a little bit away with the fairies, then you might do that as well. So come to a seated position. I'm safe, I'm grounded, maybe a little sip of water or herbal tea, a little bite of chocolate can help to ground us and relive the senses. So you can do maybe 5 or 6 of these rounds if you feel that serves you, but come back to spontaneous breath in between if you need to. And remember that just like our asana practice, our movement and shape practice, some shapes just will not feel comfortable and will not be our preference, and that's okay. If this breathing practice isn't for you, we have another breathing practice, abdominal breathing, and we'll be popping many more different breathing practices up on Yoga Borne YouTube. So I do hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, that's fine. There's an array of other things you can try, or maybe you give it a whirl again. Thank you very much for joining me. Take good care of you. Hopefully I'll see you soon.